Welcome back to this NPTEL course on effective learning for professional development. In the last class, we are discussing about learning, effective learning, learning components, definition, etc. Today, we will discuss about the modes of learning. So, modes of learning and the learning goals. So, modes of learning, the way we learn, that is the modes of learning and learning goals, that is the targets, the objectives, that goals that we set for our learning content and purpose. So, now individual, first thing is that some modes of learning, you can say the individual mode, group mode, then in different context also we can learn. So, that is the in which way we learn, and this gives a framework for learning. While presented individually, it also connects with the individual learner characteristics, and it is in the very fluid state when the lucid stage in the beginning stage. Thereafter comes the collaboration with learning with others. So, individual learning is learning with self learning kind of thing, and collaboration is learning with others. So, when the students they collaborate, they work together, they learn together, share their thoughts, viewpoints, then they discuss about the pros and cons of certain content, then critically evaluate the content, and but however they work towards the common goal or the purpose. So, and in this context, they learn and grow with each other, understanding each other's perspective, mutually learn from each other also, and it gives an opportunity to develop a kind of consensus also, to discuss the different kinds of challenges, issues and doubts, conflicts within the context, within the content of the learning content. So, in this context they learn together, they grow together, they learn from each other, mutual learning takes place. Now, thereafter authentic collaboration can be superficially for temporary purposes like this thing, and authentic collaboration is more genuine, and it crystallizes the ideas. Whenever we mutually learn from each other, learners they learn from each other, each participant, each group member. So, by listening to others, by understanding their perspective, so they consolidate and crystallize their own ideas, and the efforts of the group also, the efforts to complete the group efforts, the total efforts of all the group members and participant also becomes consolidated. So, here collaboration plays a very vital role in ideation, idea creation, creative thinking, idea generation, etc., and solving the very different kinds of complex problems, and developing the collective intelligence, the group intelligence, and increasing the confidence of each and every learner. So, in this context, collaboration, the good performers, good learners, they learn, but while teaching and educating and helping out the slow learners, or those who couldn't understand so much. So, by teaching them, by tutoring them, so their knowledge also enhances, and at the same time the slow learners, the poor learners, they also get benefited out of it. So, their confidence gradually increases. So, it fosters the interpersonal skills, it fosters their group composition, their group dynamics, their dispositions. So, group, therefore, in the group learning, the good learner, or good achiever, not only they, by explaining others, they learn and their metacognition improves, but the poor learner, slow learner also get much more benefited out of it. So, now what are the factors that affect collaboration, or the factors that becomes factors for making the collaboration more effective. So, cooperative learning is that it develops the positive interdependence, that mutual dependence, interdependence, but positive interdependence, then sense of belongingness and a sense of well-being, common well-being, group well-being. So, through peer learning, mutual learning, sharing the problem solving strategies, cooperative classroom structures, discussions, and presentation, all these things. So, that is the cooperative learning. All of them mutually discuss, learn together. They are interdependent, but however all their interactions are more positive. They share their thought, problem solving ideas, and altogether that means that is a cooperative learning. Everybody contributes, and mutually all of them mutually they get benefited. Now, peer tutoring is one-to-one peer tutoring, that is the teaching self-regulation regulation, like whenever one member of the group teaches the other person in the one-to-one tutoring. So, it also helps in self regulation, having the control over the learning and teaching the students to become their own teachers. Like sometimes we also apply the self learner, that means we play the role of both the teacher and the learner. So, self tutoring also takes place. So, similarly in peer tutoring, when one person teaches the other person, so then automatically slowly that develops the participants, that develops the self regulation, how to control, how to take pause, how to clarify the things. So, so teacher students to become their own teachers, and peer tutors like understanding the material at the deeper level. So, either self tutor or the peer tutors, it develops the self regulation. That means you can monitor your own learning process, how do you learn, what are the strong points, like the strengths, your strengths, and where are you lacking, how to control your speed, your accuracy, your clarity, all these things. So, it slowly, so in peer tutoring also understanding of the material gets more deeper. So, in self tutoring you can monitor your own learning process, its pace, your clarity, your understanding, etc. And in peer tutoring it helps the learner to understand the depth of the content. Now, small group learning also is there. In small group learning, the assigning the task to small groups, that mutual learning, group learning, teaching group work skills, cooperative learning strategies, and adopting the content to ability grouping, like dividing the groups, different groups, either heterogeneous group or homogeneous group on the basis of their ability. So, these are the different certain strategies for small group learning, maybe by giving assignments, some tasks, some case studies, etc. So, that is also another factor in small group learning also, that is also another factor where the learners learn many of the group skills. And teacher student relationship, this is also very important factor, like the positive relationship between the student and teacher. It helps in enhancing the efficacy, confidence of the learners. And in this process, if the relationship is very positive, then it is the students, they take the agency of their self learning. So, they become the active listeners, they become empathetic, they become caring, having the positive regards for each other. So, this kind of other social skills also the teachers in the teacher student relationship context, the learners learn. And then strong classroom cohesion, that is how the group is very cohesive. If the whole classroom, whole total classroom, all the students, they are very they are having the very good bonding, reciprocation, very good interaction, personal one-to-one interaction, and all these group activities are very conducive. So, it fosters the classroom culture. Like in the workplace, we say that if all the employees they interact with each other very cordially, very empathetically, etc. So, the interpersonal relationship develops. Similarly, in the classroom, if that interpersonal relationship among the learners and students are very strong, very good, very positive, so positive, that fosters the classroom culture. It is very democratic, it is very open minded, and it is very healthy classroom culture. So, it works towards the positive learning end. So, if the classroom environment culture is very positive, then it fosters more positive changes, and learning gains becomes higher, and teacher also gives the direction by employing the goal directedness, positive interpersonal relationship, and social support. Teachers contribution also becomes very significant if the group is very cohesive, mutual learning and support. So, group support, social support, and in all the interpersonal factors becomes very positive and the conducive. Now, in the discussion platform, discussion is another forum, another important factor where learning can also be very positive and goal oriented. But first is the talking about, in the discussion forum, talking about the learning, like when working in this mode, the students, they communicate their ideas in an environment built on trust. Like in the classrooms discussion, when the teacher is also there, and the students, they can very clearly communicate their ideas, their doubts, doubts, and they don't that means they don't have any inhibition in sharing their thoughts and doubts and ideas, and ask about the clarity or the clarity of their doubts, etc. So, it builds a very kind of an environment full of trust, mutual respect, and there is no one that is superior or inferior, there is no such kind of complexes, etc., where all the voices are addressed, are heard and valued. Similarly, so in this discussion forum also, students are also encouraged to confidently share their ideas, enhance and develop the critical thinking, creativity, reasoning, resilience, all these things. So, in the process of discussion itself, all other social skills, group skills like confidently sharing your ideas, communication skill, resilience, being resilient and tolerant, being how different, innovative you can be in your thoughts, being creative, and all these kind of critical thinking, creative thinking can also be enhanced. So, discussion also gives a platform, it also allows the students to effectively communicate by sharing the ideas, enabling the perspective, having the agency and the choices in their learning. So, discussion is such a forum, such a platform where not only communicate your own ideas, but sharing the ideas, learning from each other, understanding others perspective, and having an agency and choice of like they are owning their own owning the responsibility of their own learning, and they take the agency of sharing their thoughts and ideas with others, etc. So, these are the benefits of discussion, learning through discussion, and discussion strategies can be like one such strategies can be questioning, asking many questions to the audience, question within the classroom, question to self, questioning, that is the posing of the factual or the conceptual question on any topic to any student, like when the topic is being discussed, you can raise the questions. So, questioning, like having the dialogue and the questions, can also bring clarity in the thoughts. Then elaborative interrogation, and whatever concept you are in, suppose it is a new concept, is an innovative concept, creative concept. So, when you are introducing it, explaining its meaning and application, etc. So, at that time also questioning is also helps, elaborative, like asking all the know hows, know whys, know when, all these why questions, why and when and where and how, all these asking questions also can bring the more clarity. So, it generates the explanation and explicitly set the facts by asking the questions like why of the questions and what are the inherent meaning and inherent reasons for these concepts. And the philosophy in the schools also, the teaching students reasoning and the argumentative skills. This kind of strategies also helps the learners in developing rational thinking, reasoning and argumentative skills also. So, teaching communication skills also by explicitly teaching of the communication, practicing it, demonstrating it, this can also helps the learners in developing these learning capabilities and learning skills and competencies. So, classroom cohesion, it also helps in developing a group togetherness, group positive group dynamics, developing a sense that the teachers and students are there like working like a partnership is there, positive. So, it also boosts the having the positive learning goals and move ahead with more learning strategies. So, positive, it has impact like positive peer influences is there, they build and develop a awareness of positive cohesive positive influences, mutual reciprocation, and here feedback also employs the feedback and reflection is also very important during the discussion, during the classroom discussion, etc. Feedback, teachers feedback, students learners feedback, and in group within the group members feedback is very important in learning process, because like suppose the presenter or the particular student, whenever he explains, he is representing, he is giving his own ideas and thoughts like what he thinks, but unless and until he gets the feedback, he cannot go back, he cannot reverse back, go back and find out the lapses, the gaps, learning gaps, or what could be the other perspective implications of this content and the way he is presenting. All these kind of things can be learned through feedback and reflection. So, feedback actually it prompts reflection. The moment you get the feedback from the learner, then you start thinking of reflecting on your content, on your presentation, on your ideas, then to give the explanation of whatever the questions that has been asked. So, learning about learning, it also all these things together, it is it helps us in learning how we are learning, that is learning about our learning, that is a meta, it is a kind of meta learning. Meta learning, we are learning the content, his content we are learning, but how we are learning, that we must learn, that is the learning about the learning, our own learning processes, that is another important, that is called the meta learning. So, in this process the students and teachers, they teach us to engage in with the reflective processes, asking questions, and here learning is more personalized and aimed at improving the outcomes. Like whenever we are learning about learning together and with the feedback and reflection, not only we ask the questions to ourselves, but we reflect on the processes that is behind, that is working in the back end. So, it helps us in improving the learning outcome, expected learning outcome, and the learning becomes more personalized, individualized, personalized. So, it can also help the learner to master the process of unlearning. Sometimes maybe when we are venturing into the new learning process, new content, new domain. So, sometimes we have to unlearn certain past learning which are irrelevant, which are obsolete, which are not important, or which does not match with the present context, that is unlearning. It also helps the learner to unlearn many unnecessary things. Similarly, it also involves the students to be actively engaged in assessment for learning, that self assessment, setting the personal learning goals, and then reviewing the whole learning processes, and assessing self assessment also, and tracking the own progress, taking their own progress and how to achieve it, then by like mapping our own progress, assessing the own progress, then moving towards the new strategy. So, reflection on learning and feedback can be independent, collaborate, or as a part of teacher student, student teacher consultation. So, reflection can be on learning. How do you reflect? How do we reflect on learning? It can happen because of the feedback. Feedback from your from other group members or the teachers, etc., or self feedback also. So, sometimes it can be independent, like when you yourself ask the questions and gives the questions and the feedback, or in the individual context as well as in the collaborative context also, when the teacher student they work together in the classroom discussion. So, either you consult with the team members or with the teacher. It can be in the consultative mode, it can be collaborative, and it can be also independent and individualistic. So, now how to enable the strategies of feedback and reflection. The feedback and reflections are very important. So, enabling strategies for feedback and reflection, how to strengthen this feedback and reflection. So, first thing is that to clear goal intention. So, linking the goal intention to plan and overcome the expected obstacles. First of all, our learning goal should be very clear, and the clear goal can give a direction to move on, in which way to move on, and how to overcome any kind of obstacles, etc. Then self-reported grades. Self-reported grades, actually students assessing the quality of their own work, that is self assessment mode. So, or their level of mastery, at what level they have understood the thing, or they are skilled, they are competent in a given subject, in a given subject domain, they have the mastery. So, that is the self reported grade. Is also the self analysis and reflection can be another way of assessing our own learning, knowing about our own competences and achievement, and developing the ability to reflect on their own learning. So, it also develops a kind of self reflection, self feedback, and competencies in the learning processes. Similarly, it also in this process it also enhances the positive self concept. Very often I ask the questions to myself, assess my performance and monitor my own learning, and not only develops a kind of self regulation, but it also gives me confidence and positive self concept about what I am competent at. So, it gives a kind of competence, it gives a kind of feedback, or you can say the benchmarking for competing with the higher goals or the difficult contents, difficult subjects. So, positives, it enhances the positive self concept and gives us a parameter for moving in towards the higher goals or the higher learning goals. And self efficacy, of course, self efficacy, after going through these pathways, then the students, they not only they develop the confidence and the positive self perception through regular feedback and reflecting and improving and uplifting their own skills and competence. It also enhances self efficacy. Self efficacy, that individual learners understanding of his or her own competencies, capabilities, and how efficient he is in performing or conducting certain things and tasks. That is a self efficacy. Our own idea of own idea about our own efficiency, capabilities and competences, and that is called the self efficacy. So, then again guided learning is also another factor. Guided learning, learning with an expert. Guided learning is kind of like the mentor is there and the mentee is there, the learner is there. So, learning with an expert. So, in the guided learning, the learning with an expert, that is it provides a kind of opportunity for differentiated instruction. So, guide, the mentor, the expert gives us the many, shows us the many pathways, many strategies, many many you can say conditions, context, etc., which differs from one to one, differs from one context to another context, but it at the same time it gives an opportunity for differentiated instruction, varied diverse instruction, and can be delivered to the large groups of the small groups or the individual learners, group learners, etc. So, that is why it should be it should lead the learners to increasing independence. So, guided learning, the experts guided learning mode slowly, steadily makes the learner more independent. So, guided learning also allows the students to practice the new knowledge, giving with assistance from the experts. So, it also ignites their thought process in generating some new ideas and creating some new ideas, innovative ideas, which they can experiment on or further explain with the help of the expert. So, experts are here classified as some of the more knowledgeable persons. They are the mentors, they are the gurus, they are the that means they are the path givers, you can say, who can show you, because from their experience, from their knowledge, they will show you the pathways for the more knowledge, the more knowledgeable solution, more knowledgeable strategies, etc. So, slowly and steadily, when the teachers or the experts, they take them onward, take them upward towards the higher goal, higher learning content, higher skills and competencies. So, the teachers slowly, steadily uncovers the nuances of effective learning, nuances of self assessment. So, teachers scaffold the guided learning through assessment, differentiation, determine the appropriate access point of the learners, etc. When slowly and steadily, when the teachers takes the learners towards the higher goal or move on in the process of learning, say scaffolds slowly and steadily, gives him the tips and gives him the knowledge and shows him the pathways towards through different practices, through different assessments, through differentiation, etc. The teacher's scaffold, that is called the scaffold, learning through scaffolding, that is uncover and guides him through smaller steps, through assessment, through tutorial, through different kinds of examples, demonstration, that is called the scaffolding, learning through scaffolding. So, this guided learning helps in scaffolding the learners through the various kinds of assessment and assignment, self reflection, etc. So, they lead to the practice and consolidation of them. When the learners, they learn through scaffolding processes slowly and steadily, not only they master the skills and competences, but they practice it, they consolidate the tasks and questions, and they demonstrate it also. So, slowly and steadily the learning, the gaps between the known and unknown slowly and steadily removes, that is, it bridges the gaps in students' learning. So, practices that are linked to guided learning. What are the practices? Scaffolding is a practices that is establishing and gradually removing from unknown to known. How to move on from unknown to known, or from ignorance to knowing each other. So, establishing gradual removing the forms of other outside assistance, through assistance, through teachers assistance, through outside assistance, you are slowly moving on, learning from unknown to, or going on from unknown to known. Okay. So, gradually moving forms of different forms of outside supports, like maybe the videos, maybe the PPTs, maybe the other kinds of examples, etc. That is one thing for helps us in scaffolding scaffolding processes. Then teacher student, teacher learners relationship, developing it also helps in developing a very strong relationship that encourages, motivates the learners to move on, to explore more things, etc., and explicitly choosing the material that gives the confidence and freedom to the learner to choose, select the materials and design the task according to their cognitive capabilities. Similarly, conceptual change program, the practice also helps in conceptual change program, like uncovering the students' perception, preconceptions, preconceived notions about the topic, and how to clarify the doubts, and using the various techniques to help the learners, help the students change their conceptual framework. Like from when moving from unknown to known, they slowly and steadily they uncover their own deficiencies, their preconceived notions which may or may not be correct, and slowly adopt the new learning components, new strategies, new conceptual framework. So, cognitive task analysis is another way of explicitly targeting the key cognitive drivers, drivers of the behavior of the people engaged in particular tasks. When you are conducting, performing and doing working on a particular task, what are the cognitive drivers, whether it is cognitive effort, whether it is intrinsic motivation, or whether it is cognitive metacognitive strategy, or whether it is practices, that means the task analysis practices, all these, what are the cognitive drivers that actually helps in solving the particular kind of problem or engaging in the particular task. So, this can also shape the instructional approaches, like depending on depending on how the learners learn, because in the classroom diverse learners are there. Each learner has his or her specific learning style, strategy, etc. By observing these different kinds of learning strategies of the each and every learner, then it helps to apply it, adopt in the instructional processes. So, these kind of things also, individual learning styles and etc., it can help in shaping the instructional approaches from the and taking the students from unknown to known, or inexpert to to be competent, etc. So, it is a process of instructional approach to for the inexpert or incompetent or the less achiever or poor achievers to who require the guidance through learning processes. So, it is a step by step, you can say, inductive way of unfolding the new concept, how to introduce it, how to unfold it, scaffold it, then how to take them from the no learning or the unknown factors to the known factors. So, slow progress becomes positive, constructive, and in the process way. So, that helps in the that is the benefit of practices that are linked to guided learning. So, another is nowadays in the technology is intelligent tutoring systems are there, which which gives us the feedbacks like whenever we are we are learning on our own. So, the instructor, that is the intelligent tutor or the tutors, they pop up and give us the feedback, like in primarily you can see in the games, in the computer games, game based learning, etc. So, this intelligent tutoring system is there, which inbuilt system in the learning context, online context, which gives us the right feedback whether we are moving in the right direction or the wrong direction. So, it is the instructional tutors feedback that also helps to provide the instructional advice to one basis, when the learner is a self learner and learning in the online platform, that helps a lot. And parental involvement is also important, parents active involvement in the learning processes and in the taking interest in the children's learning, and they are very much in touch with the schools, teachers, etc. for monitoring the progress of the learners and their difficulties, etc. That also parental involvement is also an important factor. Then comes explicit learning. Learning from the expert, that is, this mode helps the students to engage with a new concept, new ideas, either in the group process or in the individual context. So, this kind of learning helps provides in clear learning goals. So, when we learn from the experts, then it brings clarity in our thought processes, to refining our learning goals, to map our intention and assess its authenticity and feasibility of achieving it, or also achieving it, and learning the new content, new interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary topics, etc. And so, which can be which can be delivered either in the physical manner or in the virtual manner. So, in that way we learn from the experts by listening to the videos, audios, and online classes, sessions and tutorials, etc. So, but however, now in multimedia context, as per the multimedia principle and online context, as because we are focused, the attention, the videos are primarily made for maximum 20-25 minutes, because taking into consideration the attention span of the learners, and motivation, a sustainable motivation. So, that is why the intentionally all these videos becomes very short and with sharp sessions, etc., to make it more more focused, more attentive, and so that the online learners, the learners should not get tired of or bored of. So, that is the things the learning from the experts. So, few high impact strategies are also related to explicit instructions, that is career goal intention, linking the goal intention to the plan of the plans to overcome the obstacle. When we whatever we are learning, we can relate it to our higher goal or the future goal, then we can overcome easily overcome the obstacles, the hurdles that we are facing in the process. Maybe some topics become very difficult for us, maybe somewhere some kind of doubt and conflicts that we face. So, there we can explore, then we can explore many resources, we can take the self initiative to to find out, to overcome these obstructions, like so comprehensive instructional approaches for the teachers, and these are the programs that are very much detailed, well designed, and resource rich for the explicitly supporting the instructional approaches, such as teaching very complex content, complex discipline content, very complex formula, any very difficult algorithm, or improving the literacy, numeracy level of the things of the learners, or improving the comprehension or language skills. In that context, this comprehensive instructional approach of the teachers is a very effective method. And then also explicit teaching strategies are also there, like employing a series of supports or the scaffolds where the students are guided through the learning processes with a clear statement about their purposes, the rationale, the logic behind it, and what new skills and competencies they are going to achieve, learn after this course completion. So, there is a clear explanation of and demonstration of what needs to be done, what needs to be learned, how to learn, and how to achieve mastery over it. So, this is very much targeted, is very much independent, it is very much supported kind of thing to make the learner more independent. So, this can also be achieved through explicit teaching strategies and through feedback, and to unless and until the independent mastery has been achieved by the learners. So, similarly, the teacher's clarity is also very important. Instruction that demonstrates effective organizations of the explanation examples. Whenever we are putting any slides, any content, any handout, etc., it must have the clarity, clearly given the explanation, organizations and guidance and outlines are very things, even lessons including the skills and knowledge. So, teachers' clarity is very important, teachers' credibility is very important, teachers' competence and credibility, trustworthiness is very important, his mastery is very important, and through demonstration can also be, it can be given. Like suppose teacher is going to is teaching about the negotiation skill. So, negotiation skill through theoretically explaining it and demonstrating it, that makes the difference. So, students the demonstration is also another mode of enhancing the students' learning. The students presenting the learning, that is students they get an opportunity and experience to demonstrate their own learning in different styles and platforms to varieties of audience. They present it, they build the confidence, they know about their own communication skills. Accordingly, they develop the competencies among competencies in communication skills, etc., and slowly and steadily they also build confidence. So, again another is the reciprocal teaching. Reciprocal teaching is that using the cognitive strategies such as summarizing, comprehending, paraphrasing, questioning, predicting, or clarifying, further clarifying, all these things are things. So, where the teacher take the lead in leading in the dialogue, asking the questions, summarizing, comprehending. These are another thing where teacher student reciprocation, mutual learning also, it also helps a lot. So, now I am these are the steps taken instructional approaches. There are different kinds of approaches, you can go through it. So, in the next class we will continue the second part. Thank you very much.